Yo, what is going on, guys? Freaky Trades here, bringing you another new weekly stock watch list. Before we get started, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. And with that much more being said, let's go ahead and dive into the watch list. So, as far as this week goes, Monday is off, Memorial Day weekend for us here in the U.S. So, obviously, market is closed on Monday. We only have a 4-day week for this week. So, as far as earnings go, the only stock that I'm keeping my eyes out for, that I'm sure a lot of you guys are already eyeing out, is NVDA. NVDA is going to be the stock of the week to keep an eye out and see how that's going to report on Wednesday after close. Especially on a 4-day week, this could get really volatile past that, and depending on what the move is like and what, NVIDIA being the best semiconductor company in the market right now, what their outlook is with tariffs and all that good stuff. So that'll be a really interesting take right there. So, but without much more being said, we can go ahead and go into the watch list. So first thing is NQ and ES. You guys know those are the first things I always cover on this channel because we always like to see and get an outlook of what the market is looking like. So as far as ES and NQ go, there really isn't anything catering us towards the upside. Now, we do have roughly an idea to where the upside is at, or like the rough consolidation breakout range is, and we're really far away on both sides for ES and NQ. So for NQ, for example, the breakout would be above 21,500. We are 600 points away from that, and we are closer to 20,700, where we have created a support that we have tested a second time now here on NQ. We do have a 1-hour trend line here. I believe it's in the 1 hour. Yeah. So if we go to the 1 hour here, we also have a 1-hour downtrend that's been developing since Wednesday. Nothing too crazy, but maybe if we do break this, maybe there's a chance we get some sort of upside play or range breakout here within this. So you never know. I put it on my chart just to be safe. So that's pretty much the whole idea behind NQ right now. It's a 3-day weekend. I don't want to chart too in depth because anything can happen, especially when the weekend is longed out or prolonged for this much. Anything can happen, especially with Trump being president. You guys know anything can happen over the weekend, overnight, any time, any point. So next up will be ES, and like I had said, ES is kind of in the same range or kind of the same idea with NQ. So the breakout range to the upside on ES would be roughly around 6,000. Now the problem with that is we are roughly 200 points away from that, and we are closer to the setup here at the downside, which is 5760, which is the previous support that I've mentioned, or I guess it was a previous resistance on the channel that I've mentioned before on past Sunday videos, now turned into a support. After that, we have a gap filling from 57.34 all the way down to 56.84. So roughly a $50 gap there on ES that we should all keep an eye out for. I'm sure it's the same thing on SPY. Maybe, I don't know what the dollar range would be for that, but that's up to you guys, right? I use ES. Same thing, just different index. So, but yeah, same idea here. We just don't have a 1-hour trend line like we do on NQ, but the same idea follows with ES as NQ. More focus on the downside because that's where most of the plays are at, as compared to the upside where most of it's just far away and unrealistic in the stance that this could be ready for Tuesday. But again, who knows? I'm not, I can't predict the market where it's going to open up at, so anything can happen. But this is the two ranges that I'm looking at and keeping an eye out for on ES and NQ. Now, it is a pretty short watch list this time around. I only have 2 stocks on my radar, believe it or not. First thing is Meta. Meta, I'm keeping an eye out here. This is part of my main watch list. If I put this on a daily time frame, you guys will see why. We have a gap that starts at around 619 and ends at 607. Now, if I go on the 1 hour, the 30-minute here, you can see pre-market we made a low at around 618.70. Now, I would still be looking at 620 more than 619 because usually at 620 or every $5 increments or whole numbers, you get some sort of wall, meaning there's some sort of limit order pending there that could push your stock further down or further up depending on whatever side you're looking at. So for me personally, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for at 620 with room down to 618. I don't need a big move on Meta. Meta contracts on these kinds of premium flips go insane, so I really don't need a big move here. I'm not looking to hold this all the way down to the end of the gap, right? All I need is a $1 to $3 break on this, and I'm going to be a happy camper. So that's Meta, pretty straightforward. If I go over to Tesla here, Tesla is a little bit different. So if I go to the 4 hour here, you guys will see that we are in a $20 range right now on Tesla, from 330 all the way up to 350. 350 above 350 when we did break out the first time, or maybe the past 2 times, they were just fake outs, right? We got the breakout, but no solid close above there. When we did get the breakdown on Tesla below 330, it was during pre-market. We never came back down. So My idea with Tesla here is, since we're stuck between both areas, it's okay to play inside the range. You just have to make sure there is some sort of sentimental play along with the stock compared to the market. And what I mean by that is, if NQ is really weak and Tesla is really strong, maybe there's a chance or an opportunity for us to look at Tesla, or for you to look at Tesla and take some sort of upside play on it if there is any sort of setup there. If there isn't, just skip out on it. But for the meantime, I'm keeping an eye out for around 345 on Tesla, and then after that 350 for a potential breakout range. But since we are stuck between both areas, pretty much 350 and 330 will be the main areas that I would be keeping an eye out for Tesla. So, but like I said, guys, pretty short watch list. There isn't too much going on in the market right now, especially with how choppy price action has been. So with that much more being said, hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your Memorial Day weekend, and take care. Peace out.